Economics for Form 4, Lesson 4, Utility. So we're looking at utility. Now just look at this cow here. Look at the udder, how full it is with milk. If they give you this cow, it would be quite of much use to you, not so. Just the milk from it will feed their family, and you could take some to the market. So the cow has utility. Now, utility is the satisfaction derived from consuming a commodity at a given time. So, it is the satisfaction derived from consuming a commodity at a given time. It thus means that through consumption, we fulfill a need or a desire. So, utility is the satisfaction derived from consuming a commodity at a given time. So, through consumption, we fulfill a need or a desire. And here we wanted to make the difference again between need and desire. You know, a need is something you lack, you really need it. But a desire is just a wish to have something extra. Maybe some luxurious good or whatever. But all the same, for something to have utility, it should be capable of fulfilling a need or a desire. This means that the good or service is useful. So if it is satisfying a good or a service, it means that it is useful. What makes us to consume a good or a service is its utility. Nobody consumes a useless or worthless thing. At least all of you understand that. If something is useless or worthless, who would bother about consuming it? It would rather disturb you. Now look at this carton here. If you look well inside it, you will see that it is full of rubbish. You see something like an empty tin of sardines, empty packets of biscuit, of no use to anybody in particular. Well, they could be of use to some other person, but for us, between you and me, there is no utility here. If you chew this paper, you will not enjoy it. You will not satisfy anyone. If you pick it out, you will not use it for anything. It will not satisfy anyone. So all this rubbish here have no utility. So they are just to be discarded. So you understand. On the other hand, this is our dairy cow that we saw at the beginning. Satisfies the need for milk. You see these cars too, they can be used. They satisfy some need, movement from place to place. Now, when we look at utility, there is a way of looking at it from two different angles. As we have said, utility is that capacity to satisfy a need or a want at a given time. Because if you bring it at the wrong time, it may not be the same thing again. So if we look at this form of utility, total utility. Total utility is the total satisfaction achieved from consuming a commodity. That's the total satisfaction achieved from consuming a commodity. An example is a bunch of bananas. Take for example that you can consume one big bunch of bananas alone. Each banana that you eat and enjoy, so each banana that you eat contributes towards total utility. That means that at the end, the satisfaction derived from eating that banana, the bunch of banana, the total utility is the satisfaction you got from all the bananas that you ate. So I hope you've understood that. If we take a thirsty man and give him a liter of cold water, he drinks that liter of cold water completely, the total utility would be the total satisfaction achieved from drinking that liter of water. So every drop, every gulp, that would be the total utility. If we take a hungry student, well, some of you students at times, we take a hungry student and offer him a bowl of gari in cold water. The total utility achieved would be the total satisfaction to be gained from the consumption of the bowl of gari. As long as he eats the gari to the end, it means that at least he was capable, he was enjoying it somehow. So the total utility is the total satisfaction he gained from eating that bowl of gari. But we want to be careful here, because there is something like the utility gained, that is the satisfaction, gained from consuming may not be the same as you continue consuming. It should be understood that satisfaction achieved may vary from mouthful to mouthful, and the degree of satisfaction may reduce as you eat more. That is, if you give this student this gari, the first spoonfuls that he puts in his mouth, he really enjoys them. He keeps enjoying the gari, no doubt, but the more he eats, the less the enjoyment becomes. He might eat the gari right to the last spoonful, but the enjoyment he gets from the last spoonfuls may not be the same like the enjoyment he had when he started eating the gari. So, however, total utility considers the total satisfaction received from the consumption of everything. So total utility considers the total satisfaction received from that consumption of everything. So what we've just been describing here concerns the aspect of marginal utility. Marginal utility is simply the extra amount of satisfaction derived from the consumption of an additional unit of a commodity. You know, we are assuming, it's based on the assumption of what we were just saying before this. The assumption that the satisfaction achieved from the consumption of a commodity reduces as you continue consuming. You understand? So, the theory of marginal utility considers each additional unit of consumption. As we said with our water drinker, when he starts drinking, or gari drinker, the student, the first spoonfuls, and as he keeps going on, the gari becomes less and less enjoyable. He may still be enjoying it, but the enjoyment or the pleasure he gets from eating it keeps reducing. So we can now look at these two situations to explain our marginal utility theory well. The picture to this side, you have teacups. And the other side you have glasses and water. Here you have teacups and tea in a teapot. Now, if you give Peter tea and said, "Okay, young man, you want to drink tea?" He says, "Yes." He said, "Okay, you can have as much as 4 cups of tea." When he pours the first cup of tea, the satisfaction he will get from drinking that first cup of tea may not be the same he will get from drinking the second, and it may not be the same he'll get from drinking the third. And by the 4th cup of tea, he might even give it up. He might even say, "No, I'm no longer enjoying the tea." So you understand what we are saying. That is marginal utility. It starts from A, cup 1, you have full enjoyment. COP 2, enjoyment reduces. COP 3, you are barely managing it. And COP 4, the T cannot go down again. If you come across to the water, he comes in, your son comes in from playing football and says, Mama, I am terribly thirsty. You bring this bottle and keep in front of him and these glasses. He takes the first glass, fine. He takes the second one. He does not get the same satisfaction like from the first. From the first, he enjoys it totally. The second, he still takes. The third one, he just manages to finish it. You give him that fourth one, he might say, no, Mama, because if he keeps drinking, he might not enjoy it. So we look at these cups. Let's look at the cups as we are considering them now as units. The first cup of tea may be more satisfying than the second, and the satisfaction may reduce progressively as we move from cup to cup. And the same could be said concerning the water. What we're saying here is that with the marginal utility, as you start from the first cup and you're going to the next and the next, marginal utility is rather dropping. As you start from the coffee and you're going from the next to the next, marginal utility is dropping. Meanwhile, what is happening to total utility? It is climbing. The more you keep consuming and enjoying, it keeps climbing. It keeps climbing. So that is why we explain that the normal tendency is that with the consumption of each extra unit, that is a cup or glass of water, total utility increases while marginal utility decreases. Marginal utility could reduce, and that is, it could keep decreasing until it becomes negative. At that point where it is becoming negative, this is when an extra cup of tea or glass of water gives no satisfaction and rather makes the consumer uncomfortable. So, and this is where we have developed the law of diminishing marginal utility. Diminishing marginal utility. So this law looks at this trend that we're talking about, that marginal utility starts from a certain level and keeps diminishing. It hardly goes up. The more you take, the less you get that satisfaction. There may be certain options, we don't know, but the idea is that the more you take, the less the satisfaction comes. And this is the law. It says that the satisfaction derived from the consumption of an additional unit of a commodity will decrease as more of the commodity is consumed. That is, all this is said assuming that the consumption of other goods remain constant. So, when marginal utility drops to 0.0, when it keeps dropping and comes to that 0.0, it means that is the saturation point. You have reached a point where you cannot go beyond. If you go beyond, you are not getting any satisfaction again. So here we will recommend that you read Whitehead Economics Made Simple.